It's kind of late. It's about 2:30. If you can listen carefully, I don't know if the phone will pick it up. You can hear my wife snoring, so I'm up. From time to time, she snores pretty heavy, and I'm up. So, uh, what do I do when I'm up? I read, I check the news on the phone, uh, check YouTube, and sometimes I have a drink. This video is brought to you by, let's see if I can do it, Bird Dog Peach Whiskey. Very nice drink. Just watched a video by Alyssa Clegg, who had a channel called Alyssa Clegg. It was a really good channel. She's one of the sharpest people I've ever listened to. And then her channel got wiped out, so she resurrected it as Toxic Threads. It would be very wise for anybody who watches my channel to watch her channel, Toxic Threads. She's very sharp. She just did something on the United Nations. For a long time, I've had a big problem with the United Nations. The biggest problem I have is that the United Nations was a spinoff of the League of Nations. The League of Nations was got a problem with the lighting here because I have a light up on the wall. The League of Nations was set up by, kind of pushed through by Woodrow Wilson, who I'll just leave it at, I don't want to get in a discussion about that, but he was he had his good points and bad points. But anyway, the League of Nations was a forum for discussion for countries to work shit out before they went to war and ended up in a situation like World War II, or excuse me, World War One. It had no military background. It could not call up troops. It could not do anything. It was just strictly a forum for countries to work out their differences. As a result, after World War II, the United Nations was created, and they were given extra powers to be more than just a forum. Listening to Alyssa, the United Nations was so flawed from the very beginning. Harry Truman really screwed up by pushing it through and becoming member, because the flaws that were built into it are things that are making it its own destructive force today. Korea wasn't our war. Korea was the United Nations war. Aside from the Gulf War, everything we've been involved in since the United Nations creation has been a United Nations action. And there's been things that we have not been involved in that have been United Nations action. It's been the most war promoting, the most aggressive, the most repressive thing that's ever been created. A free country of Taiwan has never been recognized, has no representation because of China, because of the structural construction of the United Nations. It's been my opinion for, at least 30 years since I really learned about it, that the United States should give every contractor on the East Coast, $1,000 to bring a piece of heavy equipment out and just push the United Nations building out into the ocean. It's on very expensive ground near New York City. it could be used for anything besides the United Nations buildings, and just push it out into the bay. Screw it. Be done with it. Give them some swampy island in the Caribbean. Set up shop there. Get the, good. It's the old saying: the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The United Nations is the road to hell. It was paved with good intentions. She also touches on the United States basically being an anomaly, not towing the line, and in the Second Amendment. And to expand on that, I'm not a wealthy guy. I have some oddball things that are generally, if you have a big boat, you're somebody who's wealthy. I got no money, but I do have a big boat. I do have several cars. I do have a house, but I don't have anything new. I'm a poor guy. But having said that, I'll try to pan this around. I don't know if I can. I can't, but over there next to the clock, there's BB guns. A 10-year-old in my house, he can ring steel at 50 feet with it. You can ring steel at a couple hundred. You can bring steel at 100 yards with a 22. What else? Right there, some reloading equipment. Right there, there's ammo cans. Right there, there's more. I'm not going to tell you what's in them. We'll tell you that they're loaded. We'll tell you there's a lot of guns in the house. We'll tell you that I'm not the most well-armed guy in the town. Hell, I know people that have stuff that would make the National Guard armory, fucking jealous. But having said that, this ain't the place for the UN to send in guys with blue helmets, because, hell, maybe I got one here. Maybe I do. I can't find it. It's not within reach. But, I got targets that are UN helmet blue, and they're pretty popular up at the range. No kind of incursion on civil liberties is welcome. No sort of civil liberties is unwelcome at all. As of right now, everybody's bunkering down and staying home, and hoping that this pandemic passes. But if at some point everybody feels like we're being taken as fools, it's going to get kind of ugly. I kind of think that I got my own thoughts on what the outcome is going to be, but that's for another video. But anyway, back to the subject. Alyssa Clegg is a very, very smart lady. Look into her. Watch her videos. Her channel is Toxic Threads. And y'all have a good night.